Supernatural Season 10, Episode 19, The Werther Project. Now, even though this episode unfortunately didn't really advance things too much in this episode, it was definitely a really fun episode that had a nice little twist at the end of it. I was really surprised by that one. But I actually really enjoyed this episode. Like, it started off like in the 70s. Whenever they start off with like a flashback, I always end up thinking it's going to be a cool episode, and this one did not fill, those expectations. But it starts off in the past. It gives us like a look at this box, which we don't know what the heck it is. I figured it was going to be like this crazy smoke demon type thing, the green version of Lost or something. I don't know. But, it ends up taking people over, gives them these crazy visions, makes them all kill themselves off. And so Sam, of course, working with Rowena, he decides, all right, well, this is the house I got to go to, because Dean is just in like full killer mode, and he had like a really awesome introduction in this episode. It's just like introduction is just him decapitating a zombies or a vampire. So that was actually an awesome introduction, but those two things kind of coming together is like, well, that led them both to be in the house at the end, because Dean's like, all right, well, I took off. I kind of just went rogue for a little bit. I didn't bother waiting for you, so we're gonna work this mission together. It happens to be something that is in their wheelhouse, and it keeps Sam kind of it gives him the ability to hide things from Dean. Still, it allows him to work with Rowena, and it's like, well, this house is in, this is a case that we would take on, and also it's our responsibility because we're men of letters. There's something from the men of letters in this house that we need to get to. And of course, things don't really go too well, and it was really interesting. I was like, there were a couple of things that kind of surprised me in this, because like when the woman ended up killing herself after Sam kind of released the smoke, and it kind of took over everyone, I was so confused. I'm like, okay, so she killed herself and she became a ghost instantly. That I wasn't too shocked by. Like, that stuff can easily happen. It's like she's been in this house for so long. She has obviously a huge attachment to said house and everything that happened in the house. So her becoming a ghost so quickly, it was like, okay, well, yeah, that makes sense. Like, I can understand that. And then she's physically grabbing him, and I'm like, okay, well, maybe he's hallucinating, which I was like, how come he hallucinates and she didn't hallucinate when she was a kid? And, by the end, I think I realized it was that she was knocked out, and that's why it didn't affect her when she first woke up. So it's like, if you're awake and you aren't completely, like, knocked out by it, you're going to be affected. She was just knocked out when she was younger. And, even Sam was hit, like, we hear the loud bang, we don't really see how it happened with him, but we hear it, he just wasn't knocked out by it. So when she first becomes a hallucination, she's grabbing him and stuff, I'm like, okay, so he's hallucinating, or maybe she is a ghost. I wasn't 100% sure, and then Rowena came in, and she, basically dispels the ghost. I'm like, okay, so she was a ghost, like, because she was actually holding on to him, so she couldn't have been, um, like a memory or anything, which I guess isn't true, because like Dean full on went to purgatory and everything, so I was just assuming stuff, and I was totally wrong about it anyway. But when she comes in, it's like, holy crap, she finds him, and it worked out perfectly, because Dean's trapped in it and he's off in purgatory. We get to see Benny, which is actually pretty awesome. We even see another Leviathan, and so it worked out perfectly. It's like Sam gets to work with Rowena and figure everything out. They discover what's happening with the box, and it ends up being incredibly simple. If he'd actually just read it to begin with instead of going with the spell, he actually would have known what the issue was. Who knows if they would have been able to solve it then, because the woman probably would have shot them both in the nuts. But it was kind of interesting watching that happen. It's like, if he just went along with kind of being him instead of working with Rowena to begin with, then I guess he would have done it. But then there's obviously tons of other factors going into that. If he never worked with her, then he would be at square one, trying to get the mark off. So I really enjoyed that. I thought it was definitely kind of cool. And then it goes through everything, and it's like Dean, when he breaks out of his vision, it was like, holy crap, he breaks out of this vision, and Sam is, in the basement with Rowena. They're doing the spell and stuff, and it was kind of funny. I was going through, and now all the scenes that caught me off guard, and I was like, that seems really weird. Now they all make sense because it was all a part of Sam just kind of going crazy because he was infected too. But when it gets to the end and Dean goes in the basement and she's not actually there, I was like, that was a nice little twist. I didn't see that coming because it was like, oh crap, he's gonna figure out they're working together, and then it's like he's been hallucinating this entire time. I was like, okay, like holy crap, they got me because. Like I said, I thought the woman may have been a ghost, and Rowena comes in, kind of does a spell on her, and poof, she's gone for good. It makes perfect sense. Rowena's a powerful witch. She would know a permanent spell for that, or at least one that lasts a long time. And it just made sense. It was like she dispelled the ghost that was in the house, and now they're working to open the box up. And it was just really cool, like the little way that they ended it. It was like a nice little twist where she was never there. And the scenes that kind of caught my attention with her is like when um, she's kind of pushing Sam and stuff, and he's like, cutting his arm, and she kind of makes this face. It looked like she was really into it, like in a freaky sort of way, which I thought was like, that seems kind of out of character for her. And, the way they did it, where she's like pushing the blood out of him, and I was like, at the same time, it made sense that she'd want this open. And then I thought, it doesn't make sense that she would do that because if she does get Sam, if she does push him too far, then she can't get Crowley killed because he's the only person. Like, she can't kill her own son because he's expecting it. And she even mentions that, like, he has all his goons on high alert. So I'm like, she's oddly into this, and it was like, it seems so weird and out of character. And then it's like, oh, totally a vision. So they just kind of had her, like, go crazy with it and just do things that her character wouldn't actually do in that situation because just any normal person, if you're the only one that I can expect to do this big task, which is kill my son, I'm not gonna, let you go forth and, get rid of all of your blood. So I really love that. I thought it was kind of cool. Um, it was cool that that was the actual solution. Once Dean came down and tried to, snap him out of it and just slapping him in the face. Once I realized that that was all a hallucination, I was wondering if that was even what was on the box. I was like, maybe all of that was a hallucination, and he's just, cutting his arm, and he's just putting all this blood into it, like this bowl, and nothing's happening. But it does turn out that the box actually is opening up, and we get the box open, and Sam's able to take the book to Rowena, and we have probably one of the coolest moments in this episode when he locks her up in the handcuffs. And I love that, and she calls him a giant, which is just like family stuff. I thought it was really funny, and I just love that little scene. So he was definitely smart about it. He's like, all right, here's the book. She completely forgot when he asked her, like, is this enough? And she's like, for what? Like, just going through the book. She's so excited. She has the grand, the witch from the Grand Coven, or the Grand Witch from the Coven. She has her book now, and who knows what she's going to pull out of that. Like, obviously, she's not just going to get the spell to help Dean out. And she might not even get, I'm assuming she will, especially now that Sam, kind of tricked her and, handcuffed her and locked her in there, wherever she is right now. But she's going to pull some more stuff out of that. And she'll probably pull something out of it by the end of this season. And that's going to be one of the crazy big, cliffhanger moments at the end of the season. But I loved it. I thought it was a nice little twist, and she got super pissed and stuff, called him a giant, which I loved. And now she's trapped. He's like, you want to get out? Hurry up. And he just takes off. And I was like, that's just a funny, genuine scene from him. It was like he's just trying to help his brother. That's all he was doing this whole episode, was trying to help Dean. And, because he didn't realize he was infected, he almost killed himself. He was almost taken over by this ultimate defense that Sinclair made. And it was also cool to see Sinclair. I was very surprised that they actually brought him back. It wasn't even just a reference. They did a full-on flashback where he was in it. And it made me realize, like, I kind of wish they didn't kill his character when they introduced him, because he was oddly powerful. Like, he's incredibly powerful. He made such dangerous spells that he was. That's why that was obviously the final straw we saw in this episode, why he was kicked out of the Men of Letters, and it kind of made me wish they didn't decapitate him in his first episode, because I like the actor who plays him. I definitely like the character himself because he's like this good guy, but he's the one who always takes it a little bit too far and does things that end up getting his own people killed. So I thought it was awesome. It was like it's cool to see him back, and then it kind of made me think like, God, it kind of sucks that he died when he was introduced, because even when he was first introduced, I remember thinking that like I wish he kind of escaped, because he has like this crazy house he'd been living for hundreds of years. He had like a crazy spell. He figured that out. He had like his own little zoo and all these weapons and this and that. He had there was something he did when he was splitting up Sam and Dean. He like blew smoke on Sam and he just vanished, somewhere else. So there was a lot of cool stuff that character had that unfortunately died when he got killed off. So if there was some way to bring him back as a villain, because he obviously have a vengeance at this point, that would actually be really cool. I'd love to see him come back. I don't think it'll happen, because I'm sure something happened with his body. They chopped his head off. I'm sure they just like burned him or did whatever. But if they somehow could make that happen, I would love to see his character come back as like an actual threat, because he knows a lot of different stuff. And even though Sam was hallucinating, the stuff Rowena said was true to her character. That was one of the things that was definitely true, because that character, like Sinclair, did some pretty deadly stuff. His stuff was really close to what the witches do with dark arts and things like that. So I definitely loved it. It was a cool episode. Um, I was surprised at like the little twist at the end. I didn't figure it out. So maybe I'm just dumb, but I definitely enjoyed it. I thought it was nice. The ending was really cool with Sam and Rowena being together. The whole episode was actually awesome, because we finally got to see Sam and Rowena together, even though they technically weren't. By the end, it was a hallucination. We still got to see those characters interact, so it was nice that it wasn't just like that last little ending moment, and it wasn't just on like their enemies like when they first met. It was almost like what they had with Dean and Rowena, where it's like they were able to talk to each other, and with Sam, it was even nicer than that, because they're actually working together at this point, which they kind of pulled a 180 on us at the end when when the hallucination ends and then Sam actually goes to her and locks her up and everything. It's kind of a 180 and not so nice. But I definitely love the interaction between them throughout this episode. Getting to see Benny, definitely cool. I'd love it. Of course, it made me think, are we going to get Purgatory back? Or are we going to get Benny back? I mean, there's definitely the possibility. So, it just made me want to get Benny back again and see him, and maybe they go back to Purgatory for whatever reason. But I love the episode. Of course, I want to know what you guys thought about it, so please comment below. Let me know your favorite parts, your least favorite parts. And now that Sam has gotten the next, he's taking it to the next step with the book, and he's giving it to Rowena, and he kind of has her in this position where she has to help him. How do you guys think that's going to play out once she either helps him or breaks out? Because I'm wondering if she'll be found maybe by Crowley, or maybe by someone else. Maybe the Stein family will come back in and get her out of there by the end of the season or something. But I want to know what you guys think is going to happen with that, because obviously it's going to be half good, half bad. Probably 75% bad, because I'm pretty sure she will be the main villain for season 11. But I want to know what you guys think about it, so please comment below, let me know, and thanks for watching.